So I'm joined today with Elan Mlgenovich. Yes,
Mlgenovich.
Mlgenovich.
Yeah.
That's what I actually said. I'll edit it so that it's like you
Yeah.
saying
Just
it
edit
over.
you saying it perfectly as me saying it.
Yeah, and then
Mlgen.
you're just correcting me for no reason.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Um,
No one ever has to use that last name.
and you, my friend, are in a band known as Authors of Fate.
Yes.
How many years have you guys been doing your thing?
Realistically, three, just about three, is when we started playing and performing and really being a band. Before that, we kind of started around COVID time and started working on tunes, but uh, didn't really get it together until it was like, okay, now we can record, we can get the full band. And so, yeah, end of 2021 was when we released our first EP, played our first show at that release as the band, and have been playing since.
Awesome. And so the whole point of this series is to talk to different artists about like not the music itself
Right.
anymore. We're going to get a bit meta with it,
Mm-hmm.
minus the Zuckerberg. We're going to get old school meta, like talk about your experience of just the industry part of things.
Sure.
Um, and I think that where I was kind of hoping to start is that I think the big thing that we're seeing, at least from an industry perspective these days, is all of the majors and all their many, many subsidiaries, they're really just banking on sure things more and more. And they're not taking nearly as many risks. Go figure. So, chasing profit as always.
Yeah.
What the first thing that I'm noticing, and where we'll come to the actual question here, is that it seems like artist development, traditional artist development, is kind of dying out. And it's interesting because, like, this isn't a conversation that I can just sort of pitch to you as a question, like, what do you think about traditional artist development? Do you think that
Right.
it's a dying art? First of all, what place does artist development even have in? We didn't even talk about the genre of Authors of Fate. What would you, if you had to pick one specific genre for Authors of Fate, what would you say you guys play?
Just metal. I mean, it's all the metals wrapped into one, so it's you could just call it metal. I mean, it's
All right,
definitely on the aggressive side, but I wouldn't take it out of that no matter what. So
fair play. And
yeah,
then, so, but you've definitely played alongside a few hardcore bands.
yeah, lots of hardcore, and again, kind of all the offshoots of death metal, grindcore, whatever, like all that stuff put together. More progressive stuff, more easy stuff, but yeah, we that's it because it's kind of all of it. It works for all of it, and so yeah, I mean, for artist development, I mean, I think for the whole music industry or for metal or any of it now is so many people can just do it themselves, right? You make your own demos, you make your own full releases, you can get all your own PR, you can get all your own art, you can do the whole thing. So why would a major pick somebody who doesn't already have that full package and fan base kind of ready to go when there's one right next to him that does? So I don't think there's necessarily a need for it unless somebody happened to find somebody. I went to a show and saw this band or person, and it was so amazing, but I'm getting to them before they've even done all that, and I can tell it's worth it, which no one can tell, but that's it. It's such a hunch thing. Why waste your time with that kind of model when you can just go online, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, Spotify, see what's playing, what are people listening to and buying, and then capitalize on that.
That's interesting because, like, I think that there's this tendency towards upstreaming that happens, not downstreaming, when it comes to the trying to approach things. And this is a total tangent, by the way. I had a series of questions about artist development, but this is actually
No worries.
fascinating to me. This is interesting. So I actually find that when I'm like trying to discover bands through things like Spotify and um, You know what? Let's stick with Spotify for now. Let's
Yeah,
just harp on Spotify and Apple
yeah,
Music
yeah,
for
yeah.
now for a
It's all their
second.
fault anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um, whenever any of those DSPs, you, I find myself like, let's say I go with, great example is if I go with yourselves, Authors of
mhm.
Fate. I would think and hope, ideally on paper, that I would be able to be served up some like-minded and similar sounding metal,
Right.
maybe from the area, maybe not. Maybe it's from San Antonio, maybe it's from, you know, Sudbury. I don't give a shit. But
Yeah.
a similar even keel, like
Hmm.
of listenership and engagement. But instead, I generally tend to see this sharp whoop, uptick. And
Right.
it'll go, it's like the difference between, I don't know how applicable this is going to be, but if we were going to go in singer songwriter terms, if I'm going with some absolutely unknown, like has 10 listeners, folk Americana singer, who serves coffee just down the street, and then the next person it serves up is Daniel Rawson from Grizzly Bear, and it's like,
Right.
Daniel doesn't need that help
Yeah.
at all. Trust me, he's fine. He's good. Like,
Yeah, I agree. That is hard because I've tried to find more local stuff or more um, underground stuff, and my friends and I listen to enough of it to where it'll serve some of that up, and we can send it back and forth, and so you'll get some. But yeah, it'll also say oh, you like hardcore? Have you ever heard of Knock Loose or Turnstile? And you're like, yeah, of course. Everybody has. Or
have I
same
heard of them?
with metal. It's like, oh yeah, maybe you like Slayer. I guess maybe I would. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the problem. Like, how does this algorithm work? Who's making these decisions? Is anybody making this decision? I don't know. Um, that's why I do like to use something like an Instagram, or I mean, that's what I use. I'm sure there's a million other ones, but I find a lot of stuff through there of all kinds of art and things I'm interested. You can, even when we're booking, I'll find an area, look up some flyers, see what bands are on there, and then you know oh, this looks cool, click on their thing. And that's why it's so important to have like your music up at the top, to have where you're from up at the top, all that kind of information so that we can connect and network together. When I'm trying to book a tour and I'm looking through millions of flyers and this band's got it up, but they haven't tagged any of the other bands. It's like, well, how are we supposed to, now I have to go type that in and search for it. And, the name is, whatever, Dead Hamster. And I've got to find which one, right? And, a lot of times bands will put some name of, the city that they're from at the end, like Portland will say PTX, Houston HTX, all these things. Um,
uh,
but, that's it, is it like, I think that a lot of the times, like, we don't get more than we deserve. Um, Not like we're not good or they're not good, but if you're not, like, if you deserved it, you'd have it a lot. I know there's always luck involved, but I think a lot of people aren't putting in those little bits of effort to help each other and help themselves, and just say, oh, it's not fair that this is the way it is. It should be different. Why won't more people come see me? Why won't more people listen to us? And they're not hitting it hard enough. And I mean, I know how much effort I put in, and I feel like it's a lot, but I also know it's not 40 hours a week. You know, I'm not putting in a full work day's worth of work on this. And I think if people really were, whether it's to writing, promoting, doing all the things, you would see a little bit of an uptick for yourself for sure. Um, because it's not going to just automatically show you to everybody. Just like everyone's not going to automatically go to the shows hoping to find a new band. You've got to put yourself in front of it. And those, Spotify, Apple Music, even Instagram, whatever, like they're not going to do it for you. So it has to be up to the people who want to find it and then the people who want to put it out to work just as hard as someone who has to find it. I mean, you've got to go both ways. And I think that's a good way for everyone to kind of help each other out, is to always tag, always share, always have that kind of basic information. And then, yeah, we've talked to like doing collaborative playlists, things like that, so that it does start to get more one leads to the other. Because if someone's getting a billion listens, of course, whatever streaming service, YouTube, Spotify, is going to point to the thing that's making money. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why would you not? Or send it to the other band that has 130 monthly listeners. It's like, what? You know, it's a business. It's not. I mean, it's an entertainment business. It's
Yeah.
not art collaborative, right? That's the part where we, as the artists, if we want to collaborate, need to do exactly that. So that's how I think to be shared would be better in the current times than necessarily just going to Spotify, which I use endlessly. Also, whenever someone's doing it, that's the biggest thing we're talking about, kind of this artist relation. Everybody has to learn how to put their own music out and be on Spotify so that some average Joe can just find it. I don't want to have to go to Bandcamp necessarily. It's not the most phone user friendly app when I'm driving, when I'm listening to music, when I'm at my desk, whatever. So, and luckily there is YouTube to teach you how to do all of these things. And it's really not hard. I've done all of it and I never worked for a label or anything. I've gotten everything recorded and art and all those things. You just go find it. You literally type in how do I, and bam, there you go. And then you tell your friends, they tell each other. That's really it. I mean, it's a word of mouth thing, just in a different highway system than used to be. Whatever X many years ago you pick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And especially like what's interesting out of that's it's a pragmatic take. It's also a pragmatic take that ends up becoming about serving each other, sort of a golden rule of like, dude, make it easy for me because I want to help you to help me to help us. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's what it sounds like.
yeah. Mutual beneficiality is a big part of my life. Yeah, I want a lot of things. I want new guitars. I want whatever, a house. I want friends. I want to go do cool things. But I don't want to do it at the expense of someone else. And I think if everyone just kind of feels like that, I mean that can't be a net negative, right? At least
No,
in my you would think.
quite the opposite. No,
Yeah.
but and that's
Right.
it is, and that's a really interesting take as well. It's it's something. It's a way of using social media that people very much either doesn't occur to them at all, or they completely, or they know about it and never do it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like a hygiene type thing, right? Like they're
Yeah. Yeah.
supposed to be, they could be, they should be, they would, but
Right.
somehow just never able, just basically, adding whatever they can to their story in a rush, answering whatever messages are outstanding, and then
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah. It's
Totally
like
calling myself out there.
the least level maintenance, which is funny too, because I mean, you said it, it's in the name. It's social media. Use it
Mm.
socially. Like
Yep.
do that. And I'm not one to post a lot, but when we're doing all of our stuff, we try to have a plan and do those things, and we always, you know, we post videos of every band we play with, in our story every day that we have a show. We every single band we shout out every band if they've got an Instagram, which like if you don't, I think is crazy, but it happens. Um, and we'll still put them on there and all that. And that doesn't really do us any good directly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, look, my story is so interesting because of this random band. But it helps everyone. Then they get to go back because they're not taking videos of themselves. Um, and so, hey, look, there's some videos of us. Cool. Oh, we'll post some of you. Great. It's this very hand in hand thing, and I think that's so important, and it does get lost and missed. And I'm not mad when someone doesn't do it back or anything like that. I don't know. I guess I've been playing shows long enough to know what I think is cool when I see it, and I want to do that as much as I want it done for me. So
I like that, especially when you have been burned. Well, not maybe not burned, but like when someone isn't demonstrating the same, I guess, manners or
right, yeah,
social,
yeah,
the same values as you.
yeah.
And people are like, it's cool if I play like a show in the same town, like with a totally different group of people, right? That's okay. They're
Right, like
like,
the day before or whatever.
yeah,
That too, and with this booking, it's like bands are always dropping, and I understand
really?
things come up, but yeah, like so many shows when we book a tour, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at least 50% of the bands drop, and I've got to get those spots filled.
5-0?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, I know these are all small shows, for us. But yeah, I don't know. Like to me, if I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it, unless a real emergency comes up. But we get some funny excuses. Some guys just I've had bands just not show up. Same thing. Promoters say this is happening and it's not. I can't get a hold of people. Um, with this modern technology, you would think it would be here's a message, respond to the message, yes or no. Like here it is, and that's it. But I mean, I have to send thousands of messages legitimately to get like a 10-day tour booked.
Oh my
It's
God.
totally DIY at clubs and bars. So
That's
I can't explain it. I think it's like you said, it's a little bit of a laziness or something that people are just kind of want to do it, kind of don't.
I find that extraordinary just because like the only times that I've had people cancel shows, maybe this is an American thing versus Canada. Maybe because
Yeah,
okay, so for anyone watching this right now, I'm a Canadian. You're welcome, and
and I'm
um,
American, and I'm sorry.
we've switched roles.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What
It's
happened?
usually the other way around. Anyway, sorry about that. So okay, but what the biggest thing, the only real reason we ever had when people were like canceling was because they got held up at the border,
Oh yeah,
and like that's genuinely something that you cannot. Ah, man, don't get me started on when it comes to the border,
right,
but
right.
it's a thing for sure. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I've never heard of people like just straight up canceling just because of dog ate my homework type
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I don't.
Lots of dog ate my homework stuff. So I mean, you don't see it too much on big ones. I mean, we had one with a band where we were going to go out, or we were about to go on tour, and we got one show here before we were leaving. It was like, all right, perfect. It's the day before we're leaving tomorrow. Call it the kind of tour kickoff, and they were a bigger band, and they got food poisoning. I mean, everyone was loaded in, and they're like, show's
Mm,
canceled, and everyone packed back up, and we just took off. Tour started right then. But I think that's pretty rare.
yeah. Okay.
It's I think there's a when bands don't feel like it's that important, they don't have any skin in the game. They're not really losing any money because there isn't really any money in the first place. It's a low level commitment. It's an easy thing to bail on, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just like playing so much. I'm kind of like unless somebody else is bailing, I'm not. I don't want to. I'll just play. I'll play for nothing to no one. I don't care. I want to play
Right. And
guitar
I think
normally anyway.
exactly. And I think that's what separates the pros from the amateurs is if you have to have if every piece of your little party has to be perfect and there can
Yeah,
be no spilled lemonade,
right.
uh, no burnt hot dogs, buddy, I'm telling you right now, you're in for a fucking nasty.
Oh yeah, man. It's like I don't that like, same thing with like what I was saying with deserving stuff. No one owes you nothing. I don't care what you've done before. Like just be cool now and do what you do. If you always
Right.
kind of have this mentality of like no one I'm just not that important, which I know I'm not in every way, so it works out. But I think that makes people you can tell when I meet people in bands and stuff, the ones we always call them, whatever, the rock stars, like, oh, I'm so cool. And no one wants that. No, no, your friends don't want it, your fans don't want it. Just be
No.
cool and humble. And if you're angry about stuff, put it in your music. Be cool to people.
And
Like
that's
it's
the thing. And that's the thing is like, so, and I think that was where I was sort of going to go with my last question earlier was like, what is it that, I mean, we talked about like artist development and what's lacking from that, but there's also, good things that we could do for each other as part of a community. What are some like notorious bad actors? I know that we've talked about like bands dropping out, but I don't think that that's
right.
necessarily them being malicious. It's just either, we've just
No,
discussed.
Not
laziness
usually.
sometimes or whatever?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, at our level, what we deal with, the ones that are always, the bad guys are the promoters, and whatever clubs or bookers, or pretty much anybody that does that whole, like, we promise you all this stuff, and we're going to do nothing, and you've got to do everything, and you're stuck footing the bill. There's all the pay to play stuff everyone always bitched about and always will, because it sucks. And I understand that they need to fill this money gap, but if the band that you're paying for their money, so because no one's going to come see them, and you've got to bring the people, and if you don't bring the people, you've got to pay their bill. Like, that's bullshit, man. Like, no, nobody's ever going to want that. And I wish it didn't exist. I don't see it's going away. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years, and it's always been that way. Um, but yeah, that whole, here, I'm doing you such a favor, so that you can basically get screwed, um, especially at a lower level band thing. It's kind of like, what are why are you screwing the little guy? Nobody appreciates that. Nobody thinks that's commendable in any way. So yeah.
So do you think there's like too much pressure on artists to be content creators these days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's always the thing that, like, drives me nuts. Um, it's always this quantity over quality thing, and I've said it a bunch of times. Is like, I don't really care about content. I care about art. Like, I'm an artist. I'm not really a content creator. I understand that that's needed to compete, and so I want to have that, but I don't like. I don't think anybody's like, oh, I love being pressured to just constantly come out with something for the sake of coming out with something because everyone else is, right? So
Right.
it's like, I want to come up with the coolest thing I can think of and then put that out. And if that takes time, well, now you're falling behind, right? I can see our numbers go down on our followers, views, listeners, whatever. If it's not just like nonstop, because when we have all that, and then we have kind of like a campaign set, and we're going to say, okay, cool, here's a bunch of things that we've planned that go together for this release or for this tour or for this whatever we're doing, right? It's kind of easy. But then in the in-betweens, it's like, I just have to keep posting the same stuff, or again, this is what's new, and nothing's new, and I'd rather just not. I'd rather say, okay, here, I'll see you when I see you. Like, all my best friends, I don't need to text them constantly every day. Hey, you're still my friend, right? I'm still your friend. So, and then I don't see a guy for 3 years, and then you see him. It's like, hey, man, it's like you never went away. But it's not
Right.
that way with this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the content world. Call me old man yelling at cloud, but because at the same time, man, I'm on Instagram looking at whatever videos of or pictures of guitars and cars and motorcycles or tattoos or whatever, the things that I think are cool, all day. I mean, any little, you're in line, you're over here, you're in the bathroom, it's like, oh, what's going on? Like, I want the content, and I don't even know if I do or if it's just been programmed in at this point. But yeah, but I definitely don't. I don't bail on stuff just because, oh, it hasn't done something in a while either. So, I don't think people will as badly as one worries about. Like, oh, if I don't come up with the content, I will lose this fan base or viewer or whatever. I think if you keep coming out with stuff fairly regularly, you're okay. I think that the nonstop is kind of a made up thing that, I don't know, that we've all bought into and then feed off and hamster wheel it. So
So who has the this is my uh other big question when it comes to this is like the part of it where I talk about content, because it's been something that's always been a unilateral concern of everybody. Who do you think has the best content, or what's your favorite content? And it's got to be an artist, I'm afraid. And
yeah,
by artist, I mean obviously musician or band. Who do you
sure.
think is putting the best out there?
I think it's a little bit like genres. It's different, right? Like, okay, so the shirt I'm wearing right now is shout out a band called Noisy Neighbors, right? They're a grind band from, I think they're from San Antonio. That's where we played with them, so I'll say they're from there. Whatever.
Cool.
They're very like meme oriented, so they're constantly putting out funny memes every day. Even though they're a grind band, which kind of makes it even more, it's like you don't think of it as being like a silly thing, but they're really good at it, and um, they get a lot of interaction that way. And bands do that a lot. There's a big death metal band, Sang Lasuga Bog, however the hell you say it. They have kind of the meme metal thing going on, right? And I think that stuff's cool for that. But then like for more, I don't know, for more cool artsy stuff, God, I don't know. I don't think that anybody's doing it that great because there isn't anything like, oh, finally, like I wait until like the music comes out. And then of course I see flyers and I see, posts from shows, but that can be repetitive too. Any of it. It's like, okay, here's always live show posts. I like that, but it doesn't, I'm not like looking forward to it every day. Like, oh, I hope they posted another picture of them playing live. So I think like anything, a variety is probably the best bet. And I don't know any
Okay.
bands that are doing it that I listen to regularly that I follow on Instagram or something. I think a big thing with hardcore and metal is like coming out with good merch. The whole
Mm,
um, yeah, it's super good at that, and like almost like marketing for hardcore is like the Colin Young from Twitching Tongues, all that. So
yep.
we recorded with Taylor's brother, and they're in whatever hundreds of bands together.
Yeah, just a
And
few.
there's always sick merch, always sold out,
Always.
right? Like they always just make enough, and he's like a marketing master at that kind of thing,
Yep.
And then so yeah, in that sense, I think that he's doing a pretty good job in that world of people. But I don't follow a ton of hardcore stuff, so I don't know if there's like a big one that's doing a great job other than that. But yeah, a lot of the times I'm kind of like, okay, that's cool. What I'm looking at is almost like more random boutique guitars or something. You know what I mean? That isn't necessarily music band related, even though it's music gear related. Yeah. Because
Sure.
I'm a guitar player, so I have to have
Of course.
as much gear as possible.
Yeah, if you weren't drooling over some Les Paul somewhere, like, are you really even a guitarist at that point?
Yeah, no, yeah, not
Or
even
sorry,
not
I
even trying.
apologize. Ibanez. I forgot that you were a
Yeah,
Les Paul. I
yeah,
apologize.
whatever. All of them. That's the problem. That's my problem these days. I like all of them, which means I
Oh,
need
that's a
all of them.
big problem.
I know. I
Um,
used to be a particular. Now I'm. They're all cool for different things.
I guess my last question in this like specific type of line of questioning. So, what's the kind of content that would actually you'd be really excited to see from a band, like regularly?
Like I think a variety would be good. I do like the live pictures and videos of whether it's people getting fucked up in the pit or a ripping solo or whatever. Um, and then here's behind the scenes stuff. Here's some sick merch. Here's some artwork that's coming out. Here's something we collaborated with. I like all of those things, and so I do think that trying to not be a one trick pony is going to serve better. And that's what I would be kind of more excited to see. I just thought about that too. That there's a guy, the band Vitriol. I know they're kind of polarizing in ways, but they're a death metal band from Portland, and it's kind of like one guy does all of it, and he puts out a lot of gear stuff. Then he puts out a lot of here's a bunch of videos and pictures, and again, it can be kind of lots of the same thing, but it's fairly varied. So a lot when I see it, I'm like, oh, sick. He's got another gear video because again, I like gear. Um, so yeah, that kind of mixed bag of all the things make it look cool. Like don't make it look like you took it on your phone at the venue in the bathroom. Unless there's a sick sticker. Which I love those too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think there is like everybody should pretend like they're they're competing with Metallica, not I'm competing with the guy that at the local show. Like that's fine, but have the level of professionalism, that the top would for what you can do. You're not gonna have that budget, but putting out good stuff that looks good, sounds good, feels good to look at, feels good to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you already knew about this, but Sanguisugabog suspended from Instagram. Did you hear about this?
Oh no, I didn't. No, I don't actually
Yeah.
follow them. I just see other people send me their stuff, so that's funny. Well,
Yeah, no,
I'm
they
sure
got
they posted
suspended.
something that was too much.
Oh, sure, 100%. Yeah, Sanguisugabog. They just,
Well, they're a
you
death
know,
metal
like
band. They should.
exactly. They're a death metal band. It's like,
Yeah.
what do they do? Show their cover art? Like,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what's
damn.
always funny is the like I said with these guys, like a grindcore band being like good at social media content just seems funny to me. Like you think they, I thought you live in a cave or a van and you don't care and whatever, drink beer and smoke
Yeah,
cigarettes all day.
I mean, they definitely do that, but
Yeah, I
also,
hope
I mean,
you can't be a poser.
uh, thanks so much for speaking with me today, Elan. It was
Yeah, for sure, man.
real good, really good to talk with you, and would love for you to take the opportunity to just shout something out. If people can check out something,
Yeah.
here's the time to say it.
Well, yeah, for sure. For us, I mean, we're authors of faith. We've got all the socials, all the Spotify, and it's 3 words: authors of fate. For some reason, that the double F back to back is hard. People think it's authors of hate, which is actually maybe harder. Officer hate, we like that one a lot. But authors of fate, and yeah, we're on everything. We've got 2 EPs out. We've got records. We've got our own website with all the merch. So you can check out all of our stuff there. Listen to it. YouTube. I've got one whole video that's 1 minute long, and it's a good one, I think.
It's a sweet
So
video, though.
yeah, so I think
All
if you
all
want to find
killer, no
anything,
filler.
yeah, exactly, yeah, that's it,
All
right?
killer, no filler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
it's
minute,
taken,
1 minute
baby.
of good times is better than minute and a half of bad times. I don't know. You know that old saying.
Oh yeah, that old chestnut. Yes, of course, everyone's heard that, Elon.
Yes, it's an American thing. It may have skipped.
Yes, that old American saying, that
Yes.
axiom. And any parting wisdom for any artists that are trying to make it today?
Yeah, just like I was saying, have all your ducks in a row. Uh, be collaborative. Pay attention to your messages. Like there's that's the other problem. Instagram has this weird request thing. So check your requests. Make sure that you're responding in a timely manner. Everybody wants that. Work together on these things, and don't be a dick and write better than you think. Because everyone's always like, yeah, that's something. And you're like, yeah, but it could be better. I mean, everything I do, I think could be better. So write it as best you can and then do a little better, then maybe record that. And, but just don't give up too, man. Like that's everybody I know that quits isn't doing anything. Everyone I know that keeps doing it is at least out there, hitting it, playing shows, putting stuff out. And you can't do it if you give up. So don't give up, work together, and do a better job. And everything will be right.
Well said. Thanks again so much, and
For sure, man.
looking
Thank you.
forward
It's
to
been
seeing you
fun.
guys when you're next time you're out here.
Hell yeah.